guys, so going to be installing CRF50 plastics. Now I already had some installed on my Mx650, but I got some new ones because I'm switching up the color, and I figured why not, you know, show you guys how to do it. It's really simple. You're only going to need a couple of things. You're going to need I personally use a drill with a Phillips head. Also have a small little drill bit just to make some holes if I need to. And then you can either use like a knife or like some dikes or something like that. I use a grinder, and what you're going to do is on this little back fairing piece, it has these two tabs that don't go to nothing, but they're going to block the seat mount, and you're just going to cut them off. Just cut these two little tabs off. So what comes in the pack is, we're going to move this over, is some of the side fairings, a new number plate. Don't know if I'm going to use this yet. Might modify it later down the road to make it fit better. Front fender, one butt cheek, another butt cheek, another side panel, and that tail panel. So as you can see here, like I said, I just cut those two little tabs off this rear, and that's going to allow this to sit right in the bike perfectly fine in a stock mounting place. So as you can see here, this is drilled out some. So we're gonna take all the plastics off that stock seat, line it up with the rear, and see how it fits, and we'll go from there. See if we have to make any other little cuts or anything like that, but we shouldn't have to. Alright, so we just stripped off everything else, and what you're gonna want to do is remove the little saran wrap and go on here, put it over that tab, and see where the hole lines up. So let's see if I can get a light on there for you guys. It's a little hard to see, but that lines up perfectly. So what we're going to do is just make sure this is centered, and then we're going to just put a screw right into it. Alright, so that lined up perfectly, and we just decided to put one butt cheek in. But what you can see here is that we have this one tab that is kind of blocking it from sitting flush. And if you compare that to the older plastics I got, it was either cut off or drilled out. So what we're going to do is just remove that tab. That way this can sit flush on the bike, and then we'll worry about lining it up to the mounting holes on the side. Alright, so we moved indoors because it's getting a little hot outside. But as you can see here, when we try to line things up, we have these little tabs that are kind of like blocking the butt cheeks from sitting down. So we're going to just slice them off right there, and that should be able to pull in these side mounts, or butt cheeks as I like to call it. Once they're cut off, you can see that everything sits pretty flush. Send a couple of self tappers there. What's weird is that some of the other plastics, they line up with those holes, but for some reason these just don't line up there, but it sits perfectly flush with the seat and looks great. So can't really complain about that. And yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next part. Alright, so we have the front side panels, and you can see they pretty much line up perfectly with the Razor factory seat. So we don't have to do too much there. Just when we're realigning things, we just got to see if we need to put it off-centered. But yeah, just take a couple of self-tappers, send them through the holes, and everything lines up perfectly, just like it should from factory. So we got one side knocked out. Let's go ahead and put on the other, screw everything together, and we should be golden. Alright. She's put together, everything feels nice and rigid, the body looks perfect like it came from factory. Can't complain about that. Let's go ahead and move to the bike. So as you can see, it's on the bike. Still have the plastic wrap on it and not bolted down to the tank just yet, but those holes line up perfectly. And as you can see here, those holes line up perfectly as well. So we're perfect. Bike looks good. All I gotta do is buy some Velcro straps to strap the battery down now that we have hydraulic suspension in the rear and in the front. I do want to take it off a couple of jumps, or at least be able to without worry. So I'm probably gonna stick a foam pad underneath the battery, get some Velcro straps, strap it down, and then yeah, that way I can put the battery cover back on, swap out the front fender. I do have the brand new white one right here, and then she'll be all said and done.
So a few quick takeaways from doing this swap to make it really simple is using the stock seat makes everything line up pretty easily, as well as the stock tank. You can use the aftermarket ones, but it's a lot more work. One big thing with the stock tank to the front fairings is that they don't line up too close where they attach. So you can use a zip tie or use like a piece of flat stock with some screws. Very simple stuff, but don't overly complicate it. Just use some zip ties. That's pretty much it, guys. This is how the bike looks, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.